Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rachel. I am an equine and animal artist, and recently this year I launched my Patreon channel to teach people how to draw like me. For my YouTube, I'm going to use this platform to enable to teach you little snippets of how I create my work. Today I want to talk to you about an indentation tool or a stylus tool or a craft tool, many different words for it, but for me I call it an indentation tool, and how I use this to create flyaway hairs, whiskers, things like that. Now my paper that I'm using today is Bristol Board Smooth. It's De La Rowney. I'm probably saying that incorrect, I do apologise. And I'm using the Stedliter Mars Lumograph pencils, 2H, 2B, 4B pencils. I have a mono eraser and I've got my indentation tool. This particular tool I really liked, just a small review of it, picked up on Amazon. I think it was only £4, and it actually came with a little bag of more different sizes, but for the purpose of what I do, I use the 3 smallest points. I'll just bring them in to create those hairs that I need. Generally I probably would say I only use these 2. For the purpose of this I'm just going to use the smallest one. And the way I would use this, say for example I had an animal's ear here, and I wanted to create some flyaway hairs, I would use this and scour my page, and I'd do different lengths, I'd do different depths, but I wouldn't use this for every single area. So I'd put these in first, like so, and then around it I'm going to use my 2H pencil to create some additional hairs. And then I'm going to use my 2B to come around this area here. Now usually I would put a 2H layer down. The reason I haven't for this is because the 2H pencils are quite a hard pencil, given that they have a substantial amount of clay in there. It actually can fill the indentations that I've put in quite quickly. And I don't really want to do that. I don't want to fill it. I want them to stay nice and light. Whereas with the softness of the B pencils, I can create these lines that I've put in. You can already see them already coming through. Now you might be thinking, okay, why don't you just fill in the area around it? Like, why don't you just colour it in? Depending on what I'm creating, I usually would. But for the purpose of hair, I'm actually, if this was in a body of fur, I wouldn't do that, because where you just fill it in, you're just going to make a very dark zone behind it, and that's going to be no good, which I'll show you here. However, if you're drawing something like a chimp, they may, or a horse's muzzle, they may have whiskers, they may have just skin and whiskers, and actually that would work really well, because you kind of want to show the skin behind and then show those little tiny hairs. But we're talking about an ear here, so we're creating hair to come around. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a little bit of a smooth in so we can see what I've just done. And you should be able to see those little indentations. You can see some of the areas are still quite white. So what I'm going to do now is use my mono. And on some of those hairs, you can start to see them come back out. Use my mono eraser, like so. Now, I never use my hands to wipe away off my Bristol board, because the one thing with Bristol board is it really likes fingerprints, and we don't like fingerprints. I'm just going to sharpen up my pencil, and again, I'm just going to, for the purpose of what we're achieving, I'm looking closely at those indentation marks, and I'm just bringing in a couple of extra hairs behind. Another one there that I didn't realise I didn't draw. Like so. So you can see there I've created very quickly a very small area that's got dark and light hairs. Now if you imagine this in a whole setting, that's going to look absolutely beautiful. For the purpose of skin and some flyaway hairs, so if I just draw like a couple of little flyaway hairs and like a really long one, you know, whiskers go everywhere, and then do the colouring in behind, you can see those flyaway hairs come through quite nicely. With the smallest point, you actually may find that you need to press a little bit harder. I'll go back the other way. Now if I show you the same thing here with the 2H, you'll see what I mean in terms of the hardness of the clay rather than the softness. What you'll find is the H pencils will find filling tooth easier than the B pencils, and that is just purely down to how the pencils are made. There's no wrong answer there, if you like, but that's how it's done. For the purpose of 4B, I love the 4B pencil. So when I did the chimp's face, I used a lot of 2B and 4B and no 2H, so I could create that skin. And what I'll do is I'll circle around this. You can see that softness of the 4B pencil there and how it sits so beautifully around it. You don't want to create hair or put flyaway hairs in like this unless you're 100% sure that you're happy where you're putting them, because once you've damaged Bristol board, you've damaged it. This is effectively you damaging the paper, but you're using it to your advantage, and that's what you don't want to do if you are if you're not sure that that's the right place to put it. So make sure you're happy that wherever you've put that indentation line is where you want it. If you make a mistake, my only advice to you is to make it work. So if I like bring out some more over this one with this 4B, you can really see how beautiful you can make it. It looks absolutely stunning. So yeah, just a very short video of how I use an indentation tool, and I'm using this now throughout all of my pieces. If you've got any questions, please pop them in the comments. If you've got any short videos that you'd like me to explain quickly, please let me know. Enjoy, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Thank you. Take care.